Hi everybody, and thanks for joining me today. So as usual, I'll start by putting up a picture of where in the pattern we're working on. We're to the left of the fountain working on the hedges and some purple and pink flowers onto them. So yeah, I'm getting into the fountain again at the top of the diagonal, and for this session I'll be working towards the bottom of it. See if we even get this this diagonal done in this session or not. Depends how fast I stitch. So I hope my air conditioning isn't too loud for you. It's another hot one today. I hope you are staying comfortable and cool wherever you are. Realize the way I arrange my threads here is kind of wonky. Yeah, this part here is actually done. So I'm gonna put it there. And then these are the ones I still am probably going to use. Depends. See whether I use them this session or I decide to leave them for the next diagonal. Oops. I think maybe my shoes are finally broken in. I went for my walk this morning and I didn't have to cut it short. No blister. So I think I'm good. Yeah, my husband joined me again. He's still off work. He goes back next week. Yeah, got 3 weeks of holidays, so that was really nice. So he's been happily in the garage for most of it, working on his Unimog. Does not feel right back there. Oh yeah, I got a knot. There's a huge loop on the back. We do not want that. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. That's better. Yeah, I can usually tell that happens too when I go to pull the thread through and it's suddenly like an inch shorter than it should have been. Then I know a knot happened on the back to use up that much thread in between one stitch and the next. Oh my gosh, there. Okay, and 3 more. And then I'm gonna park it and do the stuff that is, of course, do the stuff to the left of it instead of closing it in, as I usually do. Yeah, I don't mind this heat wave so much, but we're kind of having like a humidity one too. We don't usually get much humidity here, but the last week has been not so good. It keeps threatening to have thunder and rainstorms on us, but then it never does, so it never breaks. Yeah, my husband is hoping that we don't get it because we get hail, and I swear every time we get hail it gets bigger. Yeah. We had some grape-sized hail at one point. Thankfully, it didn't damage any of our stuff, but yeah, I mean, once they start getting up to the golf ball size, it could take shingles right off your roof. Definitely don't want that. Okay, so really short little one, but I didn't feel like carrying one of the other threads over. Plus, I can use up a little scrap. Okay, oops. Yeah, so yesterday was slow going through this flower because there's a lot of color changes there. But, I got over 700 done yesterday, so that was pretty nice. Okay, so I think, yeah, I can see what I'm gonna do next. Okay. Yeah, I have a lot of these hollow circle symbol, number 823. I have a lot of these parked. But then I have a lot of that color to do in this area, so that's generally what happens, my method. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna park that. So I did those there, park that there. And all of this is gonna be put away for now. And then I'm gonna add a new thread here. Okay, and oh dear. Oh, there we go. So I'm gonna do these 4 here, and I usually start from the right-hand side to the left, but I'm actually gonna start from the left-hand side because then when I do these stitches, my thread won't end up on the right-hand side. I can park it down there, so. Yes, I suppose if you cross as you go, you wouldn't have that issue, but I generally don't. This is just sort of the way I've always done it, done the bottom legs, and then gone back to do the top ones, so. I do wonder if crossing as you go uses a bit more thread too. Because instead of just the up and down stitch, you'd also have a sort of diagonal stitch on the back as well. So, seems like that to me, but hey, I could be wrong. It has happened before. Okay, so I'm gonna park that there. Then I'm gonna switch threads again. going to do this. Yeah, so I was browsing on Facebook the other day, and they have that new feature, the Reels, which are like the little, 30-second video clips. And yeah, I saw a recipe on there that I'm gonna actually try. It looked really good. It was you take red onion and you slice it in the bigger rings. You leave, and then you mix up some stuff with some egg. Put the onion rings in the pan and then pour the egg inside them. So it makes almost like a little frittatas or something. So yeah, I'm curious to give it a try. Whether it will actually work is another another matter. So I'll report back when I've tried it and see if it works. But yeah, it's funny, some of those everybody likes to use the word hack in their video, and some of them it's like it's not a hack at all. Like I saw one about, how to curl your hair when you don't have much time, and she puts it up in a big ponytail, and then she spends time curling it, like a dozen or more sections, and then she takes it down and then she curls it again. I'm thinking, well, okay, but how did that save you any time? I mean, maybe it has more volume that way and you do it that way, I don't know, but I don't curl my hair anyway. It will not hold a curl. For the life of me, it does not like to. So I've pretty much given up on that. Like I had a couple times after someone French braided my hair and it left some kind of waves in it, but they didn't last very long either. So. Yeah, my hair type is like very fine textured and there's a lot of it, but it doesn't like to stay where you put it. Or I see some of these gorgeous intricate braids that people do. They're like, tying knots in the hair and all this stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah, but my hair's very slippery texture and it would slide out of that in about 10 seconds. Yeah, that was one thing my mom hated when I was a kid and I was in ballet, was trying to keep my hair in a bun. Yeah. Very slippery. I don't always like to fall out. Okay, let's see what I'm gonna do here. I think I'm gonna park this here. That's sort of the closest. Yeah. And then that's out of the diagonal, so away you go. Yeah, I had my hair, set and curled for my wedding, and by the end of the day it was just hanging in strings at the bottom. Oh dear. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. Okay, one there, one there. And then I'm parking it again. Funny, like they say, you always want what you don't have, because then I have friends with curly hair who were just like, yeah, I would love to have straight hair. Because yeah, taking care of curly hair is a different routine. Yeah, so. There we go. Had an end popping up there. That thread is really wanting to twist for some reason. Don't know why. Now, I may do something out of order here or not, we shall see. Trying to look ahead and plan whether I will have to or not. Okay, so I'm gonna check both strands that I have parked here to see, yeah, what I'm gonna do. Okay. So I'm gonna do these two here. I'm gonna park this up here. That still has ends popping through, darn it. Okay, there. I think I got it now. Nope. I almost grabbed my snag tool instead of a needle. That won't work so well. Yeah, so for us here, kids don't go back to school until I think after Labor Day, so the summer is a bit more than half over, like 3/4 over. Yeah, because we go until June. Kids get July, August off. I know it's different in the States, which I didn't at first because I wondered why when I was a kid I would see back to school sale in like July, and I'm like, we just got out of school. Yeah, because they go back differently. It has to do with when the harvest is, I guess. Which is also why Canadian Thanksgiving is earlier than American Thanksgiving. Ours is in October and theirs is in November. Ours is like earlier October, I think, like the second week or something. The second Monday or something like that. Maybe it's the first Monday. I'm not sure, I'll have to look it up. Yeah. Whereas in the US, it's always on the 25th of November, right? So, yeah, ours changes because it's not on a set date. It's on a, like I said, a certain Monday or whatever. So, just kind of working my way back towards the right again. And seeing whether I'm going to need to add another thread or not of this color to avoid closing stuff in, but I think I see a way that I can avoid it. Okay, so I just did these 4. Then I'm gonna park this right here. Okay, so here's a thread I can get out of my way. Into the next diagonal. There we are. Okay, just double checking I was grabbing the correct thread there. Yeah, I mixed a couple up yesterday that were similar in shade and parked close to each other, and then, yeah, I had to try and figure out where I went wrong. So that was, oh, you know what, I just realized. This is parked correctly, but this one is not. It should be, yeah, it should be one more stitch further. Should be 3 from this grid line, not 2. Because apparently I cannot count. There. Yeah, I always say I find this method of not leaving gaps, not closing stuff in, cuts down on errors, but of course I'll never be error-free. Not perfect. Okay, so yeah, I think I see how I can do all this and not do anything out of order. So these 2 here. Okay, I can see what I'm gonna do. A little bit of thread juggling here, but it's all good. So I'm gonna park this one here instead of below, because what I'm gonna do is do these 2 that I've highlighted here. I'm gonna park it here. I'm gonna do this one here in the corner. And then I'm gonna park it right here. 'Cause then I can do, if I could find the right spot, there we go. I'm gonna do that one. And then I can carry it up here and do those. And then park this one right there. So yeah, I managed to avoid closing anything in. Although in the end these 2 shades are so similar, it's hard to tell. I almost feel like I could have fudged it with one of them. And who would have known, but oh. Pardon me. Yeah, allergies have been worse lately. Maybe because of that humidity, I don't know. And more bugs, so I had to put out some fruit fly traps recently. Ugh. Don't know where they're coming from. I don't keep fruit sitting out, so. Because I remember when I was a kid, we kept our Halloween pumpkins too long and got fruit flies. Oh my gosh, that was a nightmare getting rid of them. So yeah, I try to be really careful about avoiding that now. Oh yeah, this is the strand that likes to twist for some reason. So, as you can see, I'm kind of going past the diagonal line here because the colors are going that way, so. Like I've often said, I don't follow sharp straight lines, I follow the colors for the natural break points usually. Okay. This one is still threaded. It's number 2, so I may actually just, yeah, do this one and tie it off since it's already threaded, and then I can get it out of my way. Yes, that is what I will do. Okay. No, I'm only at 87 so far. I thought I'd be further for some reason. We'll see. Yeah, we're coming along nicely. Yeah, it's one reason why I like to stick to one big project generally. I really like to see the progress on it. Yeah, I've seen some where people have a lot of them in rotation and talking about the different ways they decide to rotate them. So, yeah, it's interesting. There was one saying that she assigns a letter to them, so then she'll do project A, then project B, then project A, then project C, that kind of thing. So the ones that she wants to get done faster will be, you know, A, and the ones that she wants to do later, not as quickly, gets to be B and C and stuff. I was thinking, wow, that's quite quite the organization system. I think I would get muddled. My thing would be changing my threads. I mean, I guess maybe she works off of one primary set or something. Because I have like one master set, but then I just pull what I need for a particular project. So switching that around would kind of annoy me, I think. I kind of like knowing how long a project took too, without having to account for having taken breaks from it. 796. Okay. Yeah, there were some people who said they have little random pickers, like apps and things, or a wheel to spin or whatever, which was kind of neat. I remember my mom teaching me the way to choose things was to, you know, assign it heads or tails, flip a coin, and then note your reaction when it comes up. So if tails came up and you're kind of feel disappointed that it wasn't heads, then now you know heads is the choice that you wanted. You have to not think about it too hard though before you do it. Then you can feel what your actual first instinct was. So keep you from overthinking it. So yeah, it does work most of the time, I find. And if you really didn't have a preference, you weren't subconsciously hoping it would be one or the other, then it really doesn't matter which one you pick, right? They'll both make you equally happy. So okay, so I'm gonna have 2 threads in this bit here, but this is a pretty big section of colors, so I think using them both will be just fine. Oh goodness, I came up right in the middle of the fabric thread there, not in the hole where it should be. Oh, and then I threaded just one strand through. Oh dear. This is a very professional channel, hey? Oh my gosh. Okay, so okay, so again, these are all in the next area. So I'm going to put them aside. Okay, so I could choose to park this sort of over to the left, but it's closer to park it here down to the right, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'll do a new thread for those ones that are over to the left of this section. So with these two threads here, I'm going to sort of have them meet in the middle. That works just fine. Okay, so yeah, here's where we'll start a new one. Making sure there isn't a knot there. No, there isn't. Okay. Just a lot of threads kind of parked in one area, so it's feeling a little thicker, but it's okay. Yeah, these shades of blue here look so so similar. But when you back up, that adds the subtle shading that really gives the picture depth and detail. Yeah, someone was saying in one of my progress update videos that they liked the 3D effect when I'm holding up the thing, and it was like, yeah, I didn't really notice until I was editing the video that, yeah, the trees almost looked three-dimensional when I was holding it up. It's like, wow, that's really cool. What they can do with light and shadow and color to make things look, give things depth. And perspective, and yeah. It's always amazing when you feel like you could actually step into the picture. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I can see, yeah, I'm gonna want more than one thread of this $sign color. Yeah, so my husband went to the car show the other day and got talking with a guy who turns out he also has a Unimog that he wants to restore. So he's asking my husband, can I hire you to do it? It's like, okay, well, let me finish mine first, he said, you know. But yeah, because it's an older vehicle, and I don't know if they make them anymore, but harder to get parts for. He's had to have some stuff, make some stuff custom machined to get them to work. Harder to find old ones to salvage at a wrecker. Yeah, he had one time, he took our son to the salvage yard with him, and there ended up being a wasp's nest or something under one of the seats, and they didn't know till they opened the door, and it's like, okay. Yeah, my husband got stung a couple times, so I said, yeah, you really paid for that part, huh? Mm. Yeah, I guess that vehicle hadn't been disturbed for a while, poor guy. Mm. Yeah, he said it was interesting, actually. He went to there one time and said, I think I found my first car in there. He had sold it eventually. But then, yeah, I mean, all cars are going to end up in the wrecker at one point or in the scrapyard, right? Yeah. Eventually. I mean, I guess unless they become like museum showpieces and no one actually drives them. But yeah, I guess that's part of why I got a lot of stitches done yesterday. In the evening when we usually watch TV together, he was at the car show, so yeah, I just kept on stitching. Actually, I think I'm going to stick with that color there first. Yeah, that works. Got to watch a couple more episodes of ER. Still working my way through that. Yeah, it's been a while since I watched it the first time in like 2014, so it's been a while, and I had forgotten some of the they had some famous people sort of before they were famous on there. And then I had completely forgotten that Ellen Alda, Hawkeye from MASH, was on there for a few episodes. I don't know how I could have forgotten that, considering I'm such a big MASH fan, but yeah. Yeah, and I was watching it, my son was in the room. I said, so you recognize him? Look, it's Hawkeye. Older, but it's him. Playing a doctor again. Yeah, they gave some kind of nods to it, too. Talking about the war, and then one point he does this sort of like off-label use for catheter. He uses it to as like an internal tourniquet or whatever to stop bleeding, and then he says, oh, that's an old army trick, which, you know, they did as a little wink and a nod to his role on MASH. Yeah, and actually they had what's her name? Rosalind Chow showed up on one episode, and she worked with him too. So she asks him to identify a funnel, and he said it's a martini glass, and because of course another nod to his Hawkeye character, because they drink martinis all the time. Okay. Okay, so that, oops. Okay, we are closing in, finishing this diagonal. And then I will start at the top again. Yeah, and soon it'll be time to move my frame again and take another progress picture. Yeah, I guess one benefit of working on smaller counts will be you don't have to move your frame as often. More stitches fit in that area. So, yeah, I started with an 11 by 11 Q-snap frame, which was fine, until I started stitching diagonally, and I could only fit like 4 diagonals each time I moved the frame. So, yeah, I went and bought an 11 by 17 so that I can go, 6 to 8 diagonals across before I have to move the frame again. Okay, 317. Yeah, I was watching YouTube recommended this, MASH bloopers on it, and I think the person who put it together didn't actually watch the show. He kept calling it the 4077th, which just made me cringe every time because it's the 4077. Come on. they never call it the 4077th in the entire course of the series. It's funny, actually, when I was a kid, before I started watching the show, we were playing Trivial Pursuit, and it asked what the call number was for the, and so I got it. I guess I must have heard it enough from my parents watching the show, hearing it in the background, that I said, it's 4077, isn't it? But yeah, I got hooked on it like when I right around when I graduated high school. I was bored and flipping through channels and happened to come across it and watched an episode, and it was funny, so after that I was hooked. Yeah, when I read the comments on that bloopers video, I wasn't the only one who said, there's even someone who said, I cringed so hard I couldn't finish watching this because it's just wrong to call it that. But yeah, they were saying about continuity errors because they celebrate Christmas 4 times and there were only 3. But I think it was one of those you sort of had to suspend disbelief because they went for like 11 seasons. And the actual Korean War only lasted like 3 years, so yeah, you kind of had to suspend disbelief at that point. It was kind of like that 70s show. They started doing 1 year a season, and then they realized it would end too quickly, so they slowed it down, and then each season was like, or no, yeah, there was 1 year for 2 seasons sort of towards the end, and I think they had a Christmas episode every year, so, you know, you just sort of had to go with it. Okay. Yeah, actually, they had Jamie Farr guest starred on there. They had a lot of 70s stars who came and guest starred on there. So yeah, it was funny because I remember they were having a boys versus girls or whatever, and so Jamie Farr's on there and he says, I'm gonna go join the girls team. I can do that because I wore a dress on MASH. Yeah, I think most of the bloopers they listed I already knew. Oh gosh. Okay. Threads were kind of crossing over each other, and oh, and then look at that. I caught it on the magnet and unthreaded it. Oh dear. Okay. That's all good. We're back on track. Okay. Slowly thinning this out. Okay. Oh yeah, I think we should have this diagonal done during this session, no problem. Yeah, sometimes I can get like 200 stitches done in a session, and sometimes it's a struggle to get 100. I guess it depends on how much confetti I got. Okay. Okay. I think that was threaded and I just unthreaded it. That happens. think it'll be less than 200 to be done with this diagonal. We'll see, I suppose. Yeah, this works out just perfect for this number of stitches. I love when that happens. $312. My gosh. did it again. Find the longer eyes make these easier to thread, but then it's also easier to unthread by accident, so I guess that's the trade-off. Is not quite in the right spot. You can see it look kind of crooked. There, that's better. And again, my gosh. Okay, let's see. Is this one still threaded? It is. Well, I said less than 200, but not by much. Only by a couple of stitches. And this one's technically in the next diagonal, but as it's still threaded, and it won't close anything in, I'll do it anyway. Try not to tack down any other threads while I'm at it. All right. So 199. So I did say under 200. I was pretty close. So that's a good place to stop. So as usual, thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you here again another time. Thanks, everyone. Bye.